Maybe that fixed it. I don't know. I don't know. I hate that YouTube is such a mess. Like, I miss YouTube. So everybody who's never really watched my channel, okay, there we go. The right one's on now. Now it's the right one. Okay. Anybody who's watched my channel and doesn't know, I started on YouTube, and I like YouTube better than Twitch as far as the platform itself. It's got more discoverability. I like the fact that I can just, my biggest thing is I can watch my old videos. On Twitch, I can't see my very first stream on Twitch. And so, like, that's really disheartening when the whole platform is about content and streamers evolve and change, and like we like to go back and look at our old stuff and we can't. So I hate that about Twitch. I do prefer YouTube, but YouTube's setup process is ass backwards. It's bass backwards. Like right now, I'm trying to go live, but then I made an event, but when it goes live through Restream, it goes live to like the regular live, not the event that I made. And then when I try to change things, it doesn't. And instead of like, why am I allowed to go live normal and create an event to go live? Why can't I like manually opt in to make that second event separate if I want to do that as a separate thing? And when I go live, it should just like go to the event. It's YouTube can just be frustrating. Okay, it's fixed now. Hello, Gina. Nice to see you. Welcome. You changed your name as well. Oh, I still can't see it. It's so dark blue. Okay, now it says Dakota. Okay, cool. Nice. Your name, Dakota, on my chat thing is like deep blue, and the background is deep blue, so it just looks like a highlighted blue. I can't read what it says at all. But thank you for letting me know. Anyways, let's continue with this because I actually haven't played this at all. Let me know if the game volume is loud enough. On my levels, it looks like it might be a little bit quiet, but I'm not 100% sure, so just let me know.
Fisherman is not a job you turn down, but 6 months apart with only vid calls. It's rough. Easy to say the wrong thing.
I don't blame you. I'd listen to my girlfriend over Hammond reciting security protocols.
Forewarned is forearmed, Miss Daniels.
So you keep saying.
Here we go. Nice clean re-entry. Aegis 7.
Imagine 6 months staring at that chunk of rock.
To an independent miner, that's paradise.
Oh, I can move the camera.
Aegis 7 is one of the richest finds in CEC history. Some prospecting team set up for life. Now, where is she?
Sound is good? Okay, perfect.
Visual contact with USG Ishimura.
What a beauty. Biggest planet cracker in her class, you know. And it looks like they already popped the cork.
Why is it so dark? We should be able to see her running lights.
Yeah. I'll get us into hailing range. Someone's got to be waiting up for us.
Just be careful on the approach. I'm not taking any chances with the CEC's pride and joy.
No chances, huh? Is that why you were digging into my personnel files before we left?
You track your file access?
I'm a computer analyst. Comes with the job.
I ran standard CEC background checks, Miss Daniels. If you want to work in the big leagues, you have to play ball.
Sir, we're in hailing range. USG Ishimura. This is the emergency maintenance team of the USG Kelly, responding to your distress call. Come in, Ishimura.
I wish that I had HDR on my capture card. Because this looks good, but I bet it looks better in HDR.
This is the USG Kelly.
Do you ever hear of a full communications black on one of these things?
Never. Come on. Someone pick up the damn phone.
What the hell is that?
Sounds like their communication array is busted. Maybe a broken encoder. Daniels and I can handle it in 48 hours, max.
Hey, that gives you plenty of time to catch up with Nicole.
Yeah, I hope so.
Jen, Johnson, take us in.
Gravity tethers engaged. Automated docking. Let's go.
I'm losing control.
Fuck! We're off course!
Daniel!
Guidance system override isn't responding.
Shit, we're coming in too high. It's gonna smash us into the hull.
Jen, aim for that emergency stabilizer. There, the blue light. It might slow us down.
Got it. Drop the blast shield. Everyone brace yourself.
Oh. if you've never been in a car accident, like a good one, not like a little fender bender, but like going at a decent speed,
I'm good.
you could just feel the jolt. I could just imagine how jolting that was.
It's my ankle. Might be broken.
Shit, but better than a broken neck. Or worse. Good call on the stabilizer, Isaac.
Gotta always read the manual.
What the fuck's going on with flight control? That guidance system's a death trap.
Better add it to your repair list. Jen, what's our damage?
Comms are down. We lost a port booster. Got a fire in one of the stabilizers and... Singularity core's a mess. Could be worse, but not by much.
Then let's get some help. Johnston, stay with the Kellyan. We'll send a medic. Everyone else, with me.
Yeah, if you don't see the beginning of this game, it's I mean, the game, all you need to know is you need to survive, right? But just kind of knowing why they are where they are and how come they're stuck, it's just always nice to kind of have that background. But oh my god, this game is beautiful. So anybody wondering, I'm playing on the Xbox. I usually play on PC, but the modern games I've been playing, it's like I played Resident Evil 2, I've been playing that on PC, and that one is pushing the computer a little bit. But I've been playing Elden Ring, and that one already, you know, it pushes my computer at a decent clip. I'd be able to stream it if I was only streaming to one platform, but because I'm running 2 instances of OBS to get this all, well, 3 technically, to get this all going, it bogs down my computer a lot, so I end up dropping frames in my stream. The gameplay stays pretty steady, but the streams end up dropping frames like crazy. Like my camera freezes up, the gameplay freezes up, and it's hard for me to tell because the game seems fine to me until I look over on my phone and I notice that it's really, really jaggedy. So I decided to play this on the Xbox so that way I could get like the ray tracing and stuff and have decent graphics while not bogging down the computer, so the computer can fully concentrate on streaming without having the game on top of it all. I was hoping that that would help with the quality a little bit, and TikTok seems to be super smooth. YouTube seems to be really smooth. I did have YouTube set up to 1080, but I don't know if it's actually working at 1080. Is it? No, it's only at 720. Restream bogged it down, but that's okay. It's still solid at 720, which is nice. You've only watched Matt play bits of it. It's really good. It can be really loud. It definitely has very good jump scares. It gets tiring at about like 3/4 of the way through. Not tiring in a way like it's boring. Tiring as in like you're so on edge all the time from all the loud noises that you're, well, maybe it's the ADHD thing, but like all the loud noises constantly, it eventually burns me down. So by the end, I just want to get the game over with because I'm so overwhelmed. But it's a great game. It's such a good game. I have an Xbox One S. I have an Xbox One X, but that one, the hard drive died on it. I just haven't bothered fixing it because I also have an Xbox Series S and an Xbox Series X. And not because I'm a huge fanboy or anything. It's just I had a regular Xbox One and then it broke, so I bought an Xbox One S that I found used. And so I used that for a long time. And then I bought an Xbox One X when that was released because I wanted like the 4K and stuff. And then I had ordered the Series S because I couldn't afford to get the PS5 or the Xbox One X. And then I had a couple of really good streams where I had like really big donations come through. So I was able to afford the Xbox One X. And so I ordered that. And then I became very irresponsible. And I got approved for a credit line, like a line of credit. And so I bought the PlayStation 5 on the line of credit. So it's not so much that I'm a huge Xbox fan. It's just it happened to work out that way. And I kept the Series S. I was going to sell the Series S when I bought the Xbox One X, or the Xbox Series X. But I kept it because Alana was using it. And so I was like, you know what? She can keep that for herself. And I'll keep the X. She doesn't care about all the extra graphics and stuff, and so I was like, we'll do that. And then she hasn't really played the Series S recently because there's not a lot of good stuff that she likes on there. She's been playing a lot of my PlayStation 5. I think I used my PlayStation 5 for like a month, and then Alana took it over, and I haven't touched it since. Bead Waddles, hello. I'm doing well. How are you doing? Sorry, it's just I'm sitting at my couch and my desk is not super far away, but the screen is only a 25-inch screen, 24-inch screen. So I've got the chat as big as it'll go, but the TikTok live stream app doesn't let me actually like magnify the chat, and so it's kind of small. So I can read what you're saying. I just couldn't read your name, so I was looking down for that. But hello, welcome.
You got something?
I am a fanboy.
Like hell.
I'm such a fanboy.
Staying clear.
Crap, we came down hard.
Not a great start to our repair mission.
Oh, this game looks nice.
Standard procedure, Mr. Davis. We'll register them for the flight.
But yeah, I don't really game on my Xbox. I had it hooked up to my projector for a really long time. I bought one of those like really cheap Chinese Alibaba style Amazon projectors to watch movies and stuff. And I had my Xbox up on a shelf next to the projector just to use it for movies. And I didn't use it outside of using it for like Netflix or Prime or whatever. My Xbox was off all the time. I'd go months without the Xbox even turning on. So I don't really play on it very much. And it bums me out because it's relatively powerful, right? Like it's a decent system, but anything that would come out that I wanted was on the PlayStation. And so for me, it was like, I don't want to be switching back and forth between consoles. I'm just going to buy stuff on the PlayStation. But then Alana took it over, and so my Xbox has been sitting there, but there's been nothing that I want to play that's come out for it. Even Dead Space, I was looking at getting it for PC. And the only reason I did this, like I said, is because of the stream. That's the only reason I did it on the Xbox.
Everybody, you have to shit.
Nice, I'm glad you're doing well. Have you played this game before?
You gotta see her in one piece.
Johnson might disagree. But you're off in about the first round.
I wouldn't mind something to steady my nerves, especially on these.
Yeah, the PS5, I like the PS5, so I like the layout of the Xbox One controller better. I like the offset joysticks a lot better because just the way my hand sits is more comfortable instead of like this. I like it when my hand is more relaxed. And I like how chunky this is, like the way that it's chunky. But the PS5 controller is a little bit chunkier. I like that better than the PS4 controller. So the chunkiness, I definitely prefer the PS5, but I love the PS5's touch sense or whatever it's called, like, you know, the resisting triggers and stuff. That I love that. I love that. Xbox has those stupid little rumble packs on the LNR, but they don't use them very often, so it's useless. Whereas the PlayStation, you get that resistance, it makes all the difference. I definitely prefer the PlayStation 5 controller. It's not my favorite shape, but it's my favorite use.
See anyone in flight control?
No, nobody.
Yeah, this game looks so good. But yeah, I haven't used my PS5 too much. Okay. YouTube seems to be fine, so I'm going to shut that off.
It holds the record for the highest number of planet cracks, with 34 to date, and highest dead weight of refined product.
I'm going to go back and replay this because I've got a 1080p capture card. So I'm playing this on 1080p. It's a 4K TV. I'm playing it on 1080p. The capture card also doesn't do HDR, so I'm playing it in SDR. So it's like I'm not getting all the benefit. I'm definitely going to go back and redo this with 4K and everything plugged in directly. I can't wait to see it at full graphics.
Welcome, Isaac Clarke, to the USG Ishimura.
I really like the models. The character models are great. They look really good.
Synced. Collect kinesis and stasis modules from Acting Chief Engineer Jacob Temple. Location? Error. Employee not found.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
I can't reach security.
Same for the chief engineer. What is wrong with their comms?
But yeah, I like how small the S is. I really like how small it is. And even though it's low resolution, the fact that it can do ray tracing is pretty impressive. It's definitely good for people who don't really care about graphics, like for younger kids or like Alana.
There's nothing logged. No duty roster. Power to the elevator.
For God's sake.
But yeah, it's a little
That
underpowered,
security
which really
console's
sucks.
Still working. Isaac, get a damage report. I'm done playing around.
Okay, I need to turn down my microphone in my head because I have my monitor turned on. I love hearing my own voice because I'm so into myself. No, I like to hear my own voice so I know that the volume is okay. And I'm using a different microphone than I normally use. For those who don't know, I use a podcast, pod mic, Rode pod mic, which I love. If you're looking for like a budget microphone, but not like bottom of the line, if you're looking to upgrade, the Rode pod mic is a mic worth upgrading to, and then you'll never have to buy a microphone again until that one breaks, basically. I love that microphone, but because I'm sitting on the couch, I didn't want to have it like right in my face the whole time. So I'm using my boom mic, which is what I use for my videos, but I wasn't sure if the volume was okay. It was distorting a little bit last time I streamed. It seems to be okay now, so I'm just going to turn off my monitor so I don't hear myself. I can hear myself a little tiny bit, but that's a lot better than hearing myself constantly. It helps me immerse myself more in the game. Unprotected pass, hello. Oh. No thanks. No thanks. I don't need that. I don't need free views. Thanks for telling me you think that I'm not capable of doing it myself, though. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's really kind of you. Telling me that I'm not capable of doing it. Apparently, I'm not good enough. That's okay, though. Oh, man. Okay, let's get back to it. I wish every game had this little locator. Tells you exactly where to go all the time.
Smell what?
Like something died in the air vents. Oh.
Oh my god, I had that happen here in the house, and it sucked.
There's something on the floor here. Is that?
Isaac, I need that damage report.
Oh, it's blood. So apparently the beginning of this game, the map is very similar, but then they've changed it a little bit, just enough to keep you on your toes.
What have you got, Isaac?
Merle, hello, how you doing?
It's not just comms with the guidance
Welcome.
system. Half the Ishimura's in the red. Engines, hull, the trams.
Could do that kind of damage to a planet cracker.
Yes! I'm on the big screen everywhere. I'm famous now. Oh no!
Ventilation's up.
What's TikTok doing?
Elevator should
Positive anomaly detected.
What's TikTok doing?
Quarantine activated.
Hold on. Don't get all... Why is TikTok doing this? TikTok is like freaking out, but is that me or is that... Like, is that my app or is that my stream? I think my stream's freaking out on TikTok. Whoa. Yeah, it's my stream on TikTok. It's freaking out. Why is it doing that? Stop doing it. Pause my live. Resume my live. Did that fix it? No, it's still freaking out. Weird. Stop. End. Hold on, TikTok. I'll be back. I'll be back, TikTok. I promise. 1080p video bitrate advanced settings. Let's do the NVIDIA codec. Okay, I think that's what it was. I've got both of them running off the CPU and I didn't mean for it to. Gaming. Aww. ABC Dead. It shows Dead Space 2 and Dead Space 1. I mean, Dead Space 2 and Dead Space 3. No Dead Space 1. This is the problem with like multi-streaming, folks. I apologize so much. Okay. We're live again. Hopefully that fixed it. I don't know. We'll see in a second. We'll find out. If it's not, then too bad for TikTokers, I guess. It's too bad for TikTok, I guess. I don't know. Yes, Merle. I'm on my couch. Yeah, it's Star Wars with blood. It's Starbloods. It's Starbloods. And apparently, live. Okay, I'm live. And I'm not freaking out. Okay, we're good. So, yes, I'm on my couch. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm trying to be super smart, which is causing me a lot of problems. I'm on my couch, and I've got like my camera set up, and I've got a boom mic on. That's why the audio's a little bit different. But I'm actually streaming on TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube all at the same time. But I'm using one OBS for Twitch and YouTube and one OBS for TikTok. But I made a mistake, and I had both of them being processed through my CPU when I meant to have TikTok through my GPU and OBS through my CPU. That way I could have them both doing a lot of work without interfering with each other. And so it was messing with my TikTok really badly, but I fixed it now. I think we're good.
Another malfunction?
No. The quarantine systems are all fine.
Oh, wait. Do you hear that?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear it.
Batman?
Uh-oh.
Get easy. Daniels, get those elevators, man.
There's something in here with us.
Oh!
Daniels, get the doors open!
I'm gonna get banned on TikTok. I'm so gonna get banned on TikTok. Whoa! Oh god! Oh, it's locked! Go, go, go! It's different than last time. Oh god, there's so many of them! Oh. Woo, Falcon, how you doing, man? Oh. Is the volume okay for everybody? I'm sorry. Falcon, were you able to figure out what was going on with your sound? Like, were you able to make it sound any better? Rigo, I'm playing this on the Series X. The ray tracing. Oh, is it actually on? Am I complimenting the ray tracing when it's not actually on? Displaying graphics. Performance mode off. Yes, okay. Yeah, we got the ray tracing and everything. Super awesome. No worries, man. I don't know if you saw Night Owl commented and he made a video too. Night Owl's really, really good with all the tech stuff. It's always hard to get sound right. Like, my sound isn't very good right now, but I'm using a boom mic, so it's like you can kind of see the little black there. It's far away, but like if you get it nice and close, it helps. But it definitely it's tough to get settings right. Another thing you can do, it's hard with the video because it's so short. I'm trying to get all the information out. Another thing you might want to look into is sometimes if you go into your Windows settings, like if you go to the sound settings, if you're using Windows 10, you go to the little speaker, right click, and then you go to sounds, not sound settings, but like it just says sounds. If you click that, it'll bring up a window. And it's like the old school type of settings. And you go to recording. If your microphone is selected there, sometimes it's getting boosted. So if you were to click on your microphone and then right click and click properties, you can click levels there. And sometimes that's a little bit too loud. If you turn that down, that sometimes helps with the distortion as well. That's another setting you might want to look into to see if that will make your volume a little bit better. I know that when I'm using a USB microphone, that can cause issues, that sometimes Windows is boosting it before you've done anything to it. So by the time you get to it, it's already not sounding good. So that's something else you could look at. Volume on YouTube's a little bit low. Okay, yeah, it's, whoa. Sometimes when I talk, I'm distorting. I don't mean to, though. Yeah, it's... The volume overall seems to be slightly quiet. My microphone seems to be slightly loud, though. So I turn it down a little bit, just a hair. Hello? Hello. Okay, that's better. Less distortion. Okay. Oh, crap, I forgot. There's a guy that lives in my town that's been asking. Actually, he lives in my brother's town. He was asking me for like some basic beginner's guides for streamers. I forgot to comment to him to tell him that he can look on my on YouTube, because I have tutorials on there. Cut off their limbs. I love this. Graphically, this is beautiful. Okay, same buttons as always. Yeah, having a third monitor can definitely make it more complicated to try to get the microphone in a good place. What I do, actually, it's hard for me to describe because I'm not sitting at my desk, but like, if if this is my desk, a lot of people put their microphone, like, let's say if I'm sitting here and my face is the screen, a lot of people put their mic stand back here and it like reaches out towards the streamer. What I've actually done is I've put it on the side. So my microphone is like right up against the edge of the table. Sometimes it's in the front, sometimes it's on the side. So it can come up and around, and then it's right in my face. The only downside to it is it can block the third monitor. It can also kind of get in the way of your hand when you're like reaching for stuff. But that's really the only way to get really good sound. Like I said, right now my sound isn't great because my microphone is just so far away. But it's the only option I really had without tearing apart my desk. But that's why I put my microphone on the side, because not because of the third monitor, but because originally I had my camera set up in a way that you could see my PC, and I didn't want the microphone arm to be in the way of the PC, so I put it up to the side, and now I just keep it there all the time, because that way it's right by my face at all times. Yeah, when it's on the side, like I said, it's nice because then you can kind of like move it out of the way and bring it back without it being across your whole desk or kind of in the way. I do like it up and out of the way. I like the camera not having a microphone on screen, but then you pay for it with the sound quality, and I prefer it to sound good than to look good. Fried snacks with peanut butter sauce. Uh-oh. Don't puke, Merle. Maybe watching this game isn't a good idea. Is all full of blood, guts, and gore. I mean, I know you were a nurse and all, but I don't want you to puke. Oops. I'm coming! Oh! Whew. You know, having my setup like this, in the room it's ugly because I've got like stands everywhere and everything, but I like how it looks on screen. Just like the really basic Zelda background with a little light. I like how it looks. It just looks cleaner. Much more casual. I like that. I don't like the setup process, but I do like sitting here. Yeah, that's exactly what I did, bro. Like, that's how I have it, is on the side, just so it's like right by my face, but it's not in the way. Because yeah, I prefer sound to video. I've always wanted to use this microphone, but even now that I'm using it, I'm kind of iffy about it. It's the sound quality's not exactly how I like it. Angel, hello. Nice to see you. Welcome. How you doing? Yeah, I remember you showed me that, Seven. That's always helpful when you have space like that to do stuff like that with. Right now, what I'm struggling with is my camera placement. Because I don't really like where my camera is on my desk. Because like it's pretty much center right where my screen is. And I don't like that because I don't like looking this. Like I don't want you guys looking at the top of my head when I'm playing. I like it better when it's kind of an angled look. I just think it looks more interesting. but the way my room is set up, if I put the camera in that way, now it's a little bit better because I hung these up today, so it looks a little bit better back there. But it's like either you're gonna look at my entranceway, which was just like a big empty wall with usually a bunch of junk back there because that's where we come in and just pile stuff on, or you'd be looking at my projection screen, which is literally just a big white screen. And so it's like the background would be super boring, and so I have to have it straight on to see the shelves and stuff. But then you're looking straight into my face at all times, and I don't like that. So like because I like being able to look at you guys to talk and then look at the game so you know when I'm paying attention or not. Because so many people, if you're looking right at camera, you'll get the, why aren't you seeing my message? Why aren't you seeing my message? It's because my screen's over here. It's not here. But yeah, trying to figure out a camera position is it's frustrating. It's so frustrating. You know, Merle, I genuinely don't think, unless you're looking for something really specific. Oh, hold on.
Oh my god, Isaac. You made it.
I did.
They're everywhere. Shit, is he,
He's gone. Nothing I could do. What the fuck are these things?
The ones I saw?
Oh, you're right there.
Some of them were wearing Ishimura uniforms.
They're the crew? How the hell can they be the crew? Look at them.
Give me just a second.
Bridge. There's 1,000 people on board. Someone will be there.
We can't. The tram system's wrecked. Everything's locked down because of the quarantine.
And you're both repair techs. So how do we do this?
Nice, Angel. Nice. Have you played this yet, Angel? I'm looking over there. Have you played this yet, Angel?
There's a broken tram car blocking the tunnel. It's gridlocked the system. And the data board's burned out. I can't lift the lockdown or call the tram until we get a spare from the maintenance bay. But it's all on Isaac's side of the quarantine.
I'll handle it. Just make sure there's power to the repair systems.
And Isaac,
Yeah?
I'm sure Nicole's okay. She's a doctor, right? She'll do the smart thing.
Yeah. Yeah, she always does.
I've met some pretty dumb doctors,
Find
though.
somewhere safe. I'll be back soon.
But yeah, Merle, I think that if the microphone sounds the way you want, it's not worth changing. The only reason I did any of the changes that I did as far as microphones go, because I started with a blue snowball, then I upgraded and I bought like a little mixer thing to put under the computer. And I went with that only because I wanted to hear myself. And with the blue snowball, I couldn't hear myself. And I hate streaming when I can't hear myself. Because then you end up screaming the whole time. And it hurts your throat. And like right now, I know I'm distorting. And at least I'm aware of it. Whereas so many streamers have horrendous microphone sound quality. And they don't realize it because they don't hear themselves. So they have no clue until it's too late. And most streamers don't go back and watch themselves. So they don't even hear that they have bad mic sounds. So that's why I upgraded to the system that I had. And it was a condenser microphone, which is really nice for sound quality. It can be very accurate. It can pick up all the nice sounds in your voice. But because it's so sensitive, it ends up picking up all the noise in your room. So you end up getting the room echo. If somebody's in another room making noise, you get a lot of noise from them. And so it's very it's very hard if you're not in a dedicated stream room or if you're not living by yourself. It's very hard to not have background noise fill into your microphone. So I moved over to a condenser microphone, which is a dynamic microphone, which is the pod mic that I have now, because that one doesn't have that power, so it's a lot less sensitive, which means the sound quality isn't as good, but it cuts out a lot of the background noise, which makes the sound quality sound better in the long run because there's less room echo. And then I got a Go XLR just because I wanted all the extra features to be able to control the different volume. But like, if you don't need the extra volume, if you don't want to hear yourself in the microphone, if you don't really have to worry about background noise, then it's not really worth upgrading, right? As long as your microphone sounds okay and you have decent settings put on, you can make a really bad microphone sound really good. I had I don't remember what they were called. A company reached out to me. I did a promo for them, and it was a cheap, like $25 microphone. And I set it up and it sounded good. I was actually really impressed with how good it was for such a cheap microphone. You just gotta take the time to make it sound good. Just a lot of people don't take the time. That's the problem. I'm not distorting. Okay, good. Good. Yeah, I was on TikTok, but I think it's because I had both of them going through CPU, and YouTube OBS had taken priority because I started that first, I guess. Yeah, and that's the hard part, Falcon. That was the big thing I noticed was the clipping. I did notice like that you didn't have a lot of bass in your sound and that there was a bit of echo, but that's just distance. But the clipping, yeah, it's the same problem I'm having right now. Is I'm clipping, but there's not too much I can do to fix it just because of the setup I have. It's not a good setup. But I think if you come closer and if you check your Windows volume to make sure that one's not over boosted, that might help a little bit, hopefully. But by having it closer, it should help. The compressor will really help though, because another thing that I noticed in that clip you had is you were talking normal and then you screamed, and your volumes are very different, and so you may have set your volume at a talking level, but then when you screamed, the microphone isn't set up for that, so it distorts. So that the compressor can kind of help reduce that a little bit. It'll still distort, but not as badly. Merle said something about the peanut sauce triggers an allergic reaction. Okay, I don't want to have to fly all the way out there to visit you in the hospital. So, yeah, and like there's the blue Yeti that was really huge. Then there was the blue snowball, and then there were two different types of blue snowballs. And so I got one and it was on sale. It was like $40 and I didn't even buy it for streaming. I bought it because I was doing YouTube videos and I needed a microphone for when I did like the voiceover stuff. And so I was like, that's a cheap microphone that I could just set up in my room and just kind of put pillows around me and talk into it. And then when I started streaming, that's what I was using. And like I said, I only upgraded because I like hearing myself in my headphones. Okay. Okay. TikTok still seems to be good. This game looks really pretty. The old school save points. I'm very surprised by this game because when I saw the clips, I was like, okay, it looks like Dead Space. A little bit prettier, but it looks like Dead Space. I genuinely thought, and I was so wrong, I genuinely thought that Callisto Protocol would do phenomenal and that this would kind of flounder. And it's the reverse. Callisto Protocol did not do well, and this game seems to have knocked it out of the park for everybody. I'm glad. I wish Callisto Protocol would have done better. I would have liked to see another IP. It's sad that it didn't do well enough. I'm still probably gonna get it eventually, but I'm gonna wait for it to go on sale. Oh, it's something to go that way. Oh, I remember that. I don't have the stasis yet though, right? Whoa! What is that? The hell was that? Which of the which Dead Space is this? This is the remake of the first one. So far, the layout is very similar to the original game. Ooh, that sounds yummy. I had one of those like really cheap frozen pizzas. Last night I cooked. Last night I did deep fried like chicken chunks with with like a sweet and sour chili sauce and soy sauce with rice. Or rice with soy sauce.
Reading a door malfunction between you and the maintenance bay. Can you fix it?
No, but I found a stasis module. I'm faster than... I got it.
I remember the second one only because I played it on stream. I don't remember it very well, but I do remember it. It blurs because it's very similar to the first one, right? I don't remember the story to the third one. Everybody hated the third one because it was less scary. I loved it because it was during that time. You're too young to remember this, but it was during the time when co-op games were very, very few and far between. So I bought it because I could play it with my brother. And so I liked it for that reason. But a lot of people hated it. But before, co-op wasn't a huge thing. Like, it was never really something that took off. Ah! The hell was that? I will, 7. I will. It was actually not bad. It was a really simple meal.
Isaac, don't bother shooting those fuckers in the head. Doesn't even slow them down.
Okay. The only way is hacking them apart. Those arms, their legs.
Does that even kill them? Or do they just stop moving?
But yeah, it was a really simple meal. I took the chicken, I used some paprika, salt, pepper, a little bit of soy sauce and oil, and garlic powder and onion powder, and just sprinkled that on, mixed it up, and let it sit for a couple of hours. And then once I was ready to actually cook it, I just had a pan of oil, and then I took it was almost half and half of flour and cornstarch, and then just shoved the chicken in there, and then chunk by chunk I put it in the fryer until it was fried. It really wasn't that bad. Yeah, I want to say I was in college when it came out. I might have been like at the end of high school. I want to say I was in college though when it came out, and I liked it because I like playing with my brother. That was always the thing. We always looked for games that we could play together, and when we found a game we could play together, we played it like crazy because we always had to take turns or we had to watch each other play, and that's fine. But like if he's watching me play, he wants to do the part, or if I'm watching him play, I want to do the part. So co-op lets us both do it.
You got a stasis module handy? We need one in tram maintenance stat. The autoloader's fried. I got a damaged tram car on the tracks, and if the whole system's gridlocked, guess who they're calling?
Temple here, sending a stasis module now. What happened to the autoloader?
No idea. A lot of shit's been breaking down. Gearing things. Down in the gears where no one could be. You know?
I know.
Since we're sharing that, I went out for supper with my dad tonight. It's so filling. That sounds delicious though. That sounds really good. Yeah, today I had one of those like really cheap frozen pizzas. Not even like a good one. It was like the Costco like 4-pack. So it was like but I didn't feel like cooking. I slept like 3 hours. I was so tired. I didn't want to cook. I'm still really tired. But I had a Red Bull and I'm excited to play this game, so I'm putting up with being tired. I can cook, I just don't do it very often anymore, just because I'm always so tired. Just because work is physical and my sleeping patterns really suck. Because like I usually get home at around 4, sometimes 4:35 in the morning. By the time I go to sleep, it's like 6 in the morning, and then I'm up at like 10 because I subconsciously get worried I'm gonna sleep in and Nora's not gonna have anybody pick her up. Plus, it takes me like an hour to get ready in the mornings now because I got to do all the maintenance and stuff. So by then, you know, I have breakfast, I shower, I do everything. By then it's like 12, and I leave to pick up Nora at like 2:30. So I can't really nap after I'm up. And then I'm up with her all day because Alana usually doesn't get up till about... lately she's been getting up earlier, but usually she doesn't get up till like about 8 o'clock at night. And so... and then I go to work at 10. So I don't have a chance to sleep. So I'm running on like 4 hours a night. And then work is really physical. So I'm always exhausted. So I don't cook as much as I used to. I love cooking though. I'm actually going to be making chili tomorrow.
Repair systems online. Loading system reinitialized.
The lighting looks so good.
Warning. Autoloader malfunction. Please contact a repair technician. Loader claw engaged.
I want to see what they're using, like what's being ray traced. You know what I mean? Whoa! 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 Oh God! I forgot that I could punch. I'm cornered. I forgot there's such things as melee attacks in this game. I forgot there were melee attacks. Use health back. Well, I was at work when you were texting me. That's why I could answer, because I was at work. I actually don't check my TikTok very much. People message me and I'll go like days without seeing their message because, and I don't mean this in like a, look how awesome I am. It's just because I have a larger following, I get a lot of notifications. And so it'll stick at like, 30, 40 notifications. And so I just don't check them. Because when I click the notification thing, it'll show me like the base of like how many new likes I have or whatever. So I just don't bother checking because I don't really care who liked my stuff. I'm just happy they liked it. And so I don't check my messages. So I usually miss them. But I was at work, so I was able to see it. Oh, they're totally gonna ban me. They're totally gonna ban me. Because anytime there's stuff like this, TikTok isn't very happy about it. But I've got 4 people watching. So it's enough people. It's enough people that it's worth continuing. But it's a small enough group that TikTok may not notice. Oh, I thought that was a monster. Oh, I thought that was a monster. That scared me. Yeah, they said in the reviews... Whoa! That one thing about this game is there are way darker corners, so you can get caught off guard way more easy in this game. Oh my god, they just don't stop. I forgot if you stomp them, you get more stuff.
That's one down. You said a data board was fried too?
Inventory says there's a spare board in the maintenance bay. We can't run the trams without it.
You plan to make chili this weekend? Yeah, I was trying to think of something to make to eat because today's my day off, but today I spent it doing laundry and tidying and stuff. And tomorrow's my day off, and I was like, well, I can cook something tomorrow. But I was like, I don't know what I want to cook. I don't have anything in my mind. I've been watching a lot of Hell's Kitchen though, so I was hearing all these different things, and I was like, you know what? I want chili. I made chili about a month ago. I'm gonna make chili again. Night Owl, how are you doing, man? How are things? It's great so far. So far, I've only experienced pretty much like step by step what happens in the original game. but I'm definitely loving it. I think it's gorgeous. Graphically, I am very, very impressed by it. How's your day so far? Keeping busy? Still awake? Still awake or just getting up? Probably still awake though, right? So scary. I run on American time. Oh man, so stressful. I changed the camera angle a little bit. Last time I was on the other side of the couch. But I had all my cables like stretched across the living room, and it was really hard to get the camera angle right for the for the camera and the microphone to not be in each other's way. Plus the monitor was just so far away I couldn't see anything. So now I'm on the opposite side of the couch. Downside is the background is way more boring, but I hung these pictures, which are from Breath of the Wild. It's like a Breath of the Wild poster or whatever. So I hung those and I put a floodlight back there. I actually like this angle better than the angle I had on Tuesday. But the microphone is driving me nuts. That little bit of distortion it's causing. Oh no, not that way. I hear a monster. Oh no, that's the door, okay. Yeah, I like the lighting too. It's very casual. I find it's still very gamery with like the purple neon in the background, but it feels a lot more casual than my regular setup, which I kind of like. It's a bit more of a headache because it's not organized. It's not very easy to read chat because it's on my screen, and I have my screen's turned and like the arm is out as far as it can go so I can see it. And I'm like off center from the screen that I'm playing on, so those little things are a little bit frustrating. So I'll probably use my main setup normally, but I do like sitting on my couch. It's nice. But this makes me want to spend more money. Because my TV does HDR and all that, but my capture card doesn't. So I'm not seeing this at its full value, and my capture card only does 1080p. It doesn't even do 4K pass-through. So it's making me want to spend money. I want to go get another capture card. A 4K HDR capture card. Whoa, they spit. Ow! I thought I killed him. But yeah, it's making me want to spend money. I want an HDR capture card now so I can see the full quality of this. It's not. It's not. When I got this capture card that I have now, because I had a Razer Ripsaw. That's what I started with, and I used it for quite a few years until it broke. And then I was looking at capture cards, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to get the like a 4K HDR capture card. At the time, I had a 4K monitor, but the 4K monitor wasn't very good. And it had HDR. It could decode HDR, but it actually didn't do HDR. It wasn't bright enough, and the colors weren't accurate enough. And so I couldn't justify it. I was like, it's HDR just in name. It's not actually HDR. So why am I going to pay the money? And it wasn't worth it. But now I have a TV that does proper HDR with 4K, and now I want one. But it's so much money, and I'm not streaming often enough and not making anywhere near enough money to be able to afford it. So I'm going to have to hold off for the time being, but it's making me want to spend that money, which is probably not a good thing. And like, it's not even like I can stream in HDR. You guys can't see it if I get it. It's just for me. It's literally for me to just have it. Ew. I love how dark this game is. I wish it wasn't as dark only because I want to take in the beautiful scenery of blood, guts, and gore. No, I want to just like see the detail. Yeah, it's easy to say to dismember them. It's a lot harder to do. I tried really hard to dismember these guys and I couldn't do it. My understanding is it doesn't do it for live streams. It does HDR for videos, but not live streams. And so it wouldn't be... At least that's my understanding. I think you can stream in 4K, but I don't think it has HDR involved. But the area that I live in, I don't have high enough speeds to run 4K. My upload speed... In the comments I left in one of your videos, I said it in reverse. I have 60 megabits download and only 10 megabits upload. So, like, even right now, I am straining my bandwidth because I've got 4.5 coming out of TikTok and 4.5 coming out to YouTube and Twitch. So, like, I'm already running at 9. I'm pretty much at max. And it doesn't give me much more space than that. So when I hear people telling me that they're getting, like, 200 upload, I wish. Because I would love to stream in 4K. But there's just no way. There's just no way I could do it at this speed. And in Canada, we're one of the most expensive countries in the world when it comes to telecommunications. And so if I want faster speeds, I think I got a quote from one of the companies, and they wanted something like $190 a month just for base internet. And even now with what I've got, I'm paying $98. And this gets bogged down. Like, if I try to download something on Steam, it all slows down. I even went out and bought like a higher end router because I thought it was the router that I was using, that it was just low budget and that's what was bogging it down. But no, even with the higher end router, nothing. Like, watching a YouTube video at like 480p is a nightmare when I'm downloading something on Steam because it just gets bogged right down. It sucks. Oh. Yeah, see, and I'm supposed to get 10, and it bounces up to about 11.5. Like, that's the highest it'll go. But I'm with one of those, like, local, no-name companies. Canada is run basically by 3 major companies. And a lot of people are actually trying to fight back against it because it's not fair to only have 3 companies to choose from. But the one that I'm with rents their lines from another company. But they gave me the best price. So it's not a big issue, yeah. And that's, and like, I didn't really care. But now that I'm, like, multi-streaming and stuff... Ah! Thank you, Seven. Thank you, Seven. Ugh! The weapons are way weaker in this version of the game. Wow, that's crazy. That's pretty good speed. That's pretty good speed. My city isn't huge, but it's not a tiny city. So I'm disappointed. That's why. I was like, the scream was there and I heard it and it scared me, but it wasn't as loud as it usually is. My volume was turned down on it, so now it should be even louder. But like, my city is it's a tourist city, so you would expect them to have decent internet here, but no. And then before here, I lived in a really big city, and all the companies offered like the slowest internet. It was disgusting. It sucked. Yeah, Night Owl. I think I remember hearing that about Australia as well. It really sucks because I hear Americans complain about their internet, right? Like, there's been a lot of talk over the last few years about how so much stuff is going online, yet a lot of people in the States don't have access to high-speed internet. And then they mention the numbers, and they're the numbers I get. And so I'm like, you guys are upset that not everybody has high speed, but you're calling my speed slow. And that's how, like, everywhere is around here, unless you want to pay an arm and a leg. And even then, not everybody has access to it. Like, even here, I only recently started getting the knocks on the doors from the company asking if I want to join them, because they're just starting to get fiber optic in this area. But I refused because that company actually put me into collections illegally, and I was furious, but there was nothing I could do. Once the hit was on my credit, the hit was on my credit. I signed up with them, and after about 4 days, the internet was no good, and it was a 3-month trial period. After 4 days, it was no good, so I canceled. And then the guy on the phone tried to tell me that I signed a contract and that I was with them for a year, and I was like, I didn't sign anything. And so I argued with them, and then eventually he's like, no, you're right. You didn't actually sign off on it. You're on a trial period. We'll cancel it, and it's fine. And then I moved. And then all of a sudden, about a year later, I get a phone call from a collection company. And when I asked them what it's from that internet company that they sent me to collections because they had still put it in as if I had had a contract and that I canceled early. And so they wanted $500 for cancellation. But by then, the damage was done. And so I called them, and they're like, no, we already sold your contract. We can't do anything about it. And so now when they knock on my door, I try to be nice to the people that come to the door because they have nothing to do with it. They're not part of the company. But it just infuriates me that they're being sent to me when they literally helped ruin my credit score. But they're the only ones that offer the fiber optic around here, so... Jeez, Night Owl. Yeah, I pay $98. That's pretty much all in. $98, and then I get 65 down and 10 up. It really sucks. You have 12? Yeah, 12's not very 12's not very high either. I'm in the same boat as you. It really sucks. Like, don't get me wrong, 65 does okay. Like, if I'm trying to watch like 4K content and stuff, it's fine. It's just when Nora's watching a movie and I'm trying to watch a movie and I'm downloading something, it gets bogged right down. Time is it? Okay. My nose is getting stuffed up. God damn it. Hey, Monster, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. How are things going? Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right, Night Owl. But $105? I wouldn't mind paying the extra $10 to get like triple the speed. I wouldn't mind doing that, but no, I can't bring myself to spend $200 a month when I'm already getting ripped off like crazy. Like, our gas prices, I mean, you guys are feeling it too in the UK. Our gas prices are insane. Last year, around this time, it was way colder than it is now. Our average gas price was like 120 on a really cold night where we had a lot of heat turned on. Maybe it would be sitting at like 180 maximum a month. We just got our bill last month and it was like $385. No, $425. $425 just for gas for 1 month's worth. Like, it's ridiculous. And we haven't been using our heat very much. Like, now we're sitting at much cooler temperatures. I saw a TikTok video, actually. They were talking in Fahrenheit, and my machine is set up in Fahrenheit for some reason. But dude was complaining that his roommate kept the house too cold at 76 degrees Fahrenheit. We're keeping our whole apartment at 71 right now, just to try to keep the prices down. And when we paid the $425, we were keeping it at 73. Like, we're not keeping it very warm in here. And that guy was complaining about 76. And we're sitting here at 71 trying our best to keep our gas prices down. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's insane. I know the UK has really been hit hard. We've been hit hard, but nowhere near as hard as you guys are getting hit. But we're not far behind. We're really not far behind. And now our government is really pushing towards privatization of healthcare, and that's not looking good either. I'm really not happy about that. Ah! I thought this is where I had been. I didn't expect him to get up. Okay. Just in case. You're gonna get up, aren't you? You're gonna get up, aren't you? Okay. Yeah. 2.5K just for internet. It's crazy. Poetry. Oh wait, Falcon. That's no wait. No. My brain is melting. Okay, poetry. Hello, how are you? Sorry, I have somebody else with Falcon in their name, and he was just on Twitch, and so I thought he switched over, because I know he changed his name on YouTube, but it wasn't to poetry. So hello, how are you? That's exactly what they're doing here, Night Owl. Exactly, like, step by step. They passed a law about 4 years ago, that the community healthcare workers weren't allowed to get more than 1% pay raise. And so we weren't getting paid well. So a bunch of people quit. Then they started to not pay us well, and they started to demand more of us. And so we started to get overworked. And so a lot of us started to burn out. And then the pandemic hit, and that made it way worse. And so we're not getting paid well. We're getting burnt out to begin with, and then you add the pandemic on top of that. Everybody's starting to lose it. And pay raises just weren't coming. And so a bunch of us quit. And so the wait times in hospitals have been through the roof. And instead of actually doing something about it, our government is building more hospitals. And his BS excuse is, look, we're building more hospitals and it's not going to help. Like, it's not helping. We've got more buildings for people to work in, and it's not helping. There aren't any people available to work. So you can build all the buildings you want, but if there's no manual labor, then it doesn't matter. But he's using that, and the morons who support him here all stand behind him, and they go, see, we need to privatize so then the private healthcare system can step in and help. Except if there's only 100 doctors available, making it private and public, there's still only 100 doctors available. So it's not going to help in any way. If anything, it's going to make it worse. But yeah, exactly the same way. They're underfunding it all to turn around and privatize it. They've already started. The guy in my province just passed legislation about certain things he's going to privatize now, which is stupid. It's so frustrating. And all the prices just keep going up. Uh-oh. But sorry, that was my little rant. Having been a healthcare worker and having endured it all for so long, not exactly very, very happy about it. Yeah, I've seen that, Night Owl. I've seen that. I agree, Night Owl. And it's the same with our teachers. We're having the same issue with them. A lot of underfunding, a lot of pushing them to the breaking point, and then the government blames them for everything. It's stupid. Ah! Uh-oh. It's so much harder to kill them in this game. Like, we recently had a small strike for the educational assistants, and our disgusting government refused to call them educational assistants. He just kept referring to them as teachers, except the educational assistant system is different than the teacher system here. And so he was blaming the teachers, so then people would pile up against the teachers more. It's manipulation. It's the worst. Because they kept running with see, they just got a raise recently, and now they want more of a raise. It's like, except they weren't the ones that got the raise. The teachers got the raise, and the assistants didn't. And the assistants are the ones asking for more money, not the teachers. But the government made sure to never say educational assistants in any of their talks. I agree, Night Owl. It's a right, not a privilege. I'm so disoriented in this game right now. Oh god, behind me. Is he behind me? No, he's not behind me. Where are you? I hear you, I don't see you. Oh, there you are. Ow, that was so loud in my ears. Whoa! Punch him! Punch him! I couldn't see, it was so dark. I couldn't see. I couldn't see, I died. I couldn't see. Oh, man. Yeah. No load screens. I mean, as I'm in a load screen. No, but no, like, loading between levels. I heard this. Was it an IGN? Oh, I'm all the way back here. No autosaves. Is it no autosaves? No. No, it's not no autosaves. It did send me back a little bit, but not too much. I heard it in, I think it was an IGN review. But one of the things they brought up is the fact that there's a lot of dark spots in this game. The lighting is a lot less generous. In the first game, it was a way brighter game. Which makes it harder to see where the enemies are coming from. Whoa! Whoa! So it's a lot darker, which allows the monsters to hide in plain sight and kill you. I'm loving the graphics though, like the fog, the reflections on things, the way the light cascades. It's so good, so good. Where are you? Come on. It does. I don't know if I can check them on here, but it does. Yeah, difficulty. So I'm playing on medium. Huh, single press QuickTime events. That's cool. Yes, that's my name. I haven't tried the new one. No, I played the 2018 version. I did it on stream right before I stopped streaming. Never beat it, and that's around the time Alana took the PlayStation, so I just never got around to playing it. Aw. And because I never beat the first one, I just didn't buy the second one. I'll eventually buy it, but it's not very high on my list. Not because I don't want to play it. I definitely do. I really liked the first one, or the 2018 one, but I want to beat the first one, and I don't know when I'm getting my PlayStation back. So even this, I wasn't planning to buy this, but I randomly got a YouTube payout out of nowhere. Ah! Oh, Glizzy, hello, welcome. Oh my god. Oh, 7. Sorry for the double noises, everybody. Oh, I pulled a muscle on that one. Oh, I pulled a hip muscle on that one. Whew. Oh, that was good. I wasn't expecting that at all. Especially because I can hear something over there. I can hear something in the game. Hello, WeWin. How are you? That's really cool, Night Owl. I didn't know that. That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, I know... What game is it? There was another game I remember hearing about that you could like skip a whole section if you weren't comfortable doing it, but I can't remember what game it is. But yeah, I got a random payout because I guess YouTube changed their amount before a payout. It used to be $100 that you have to earn before they would pay you out. So like I stopped streaming on YouTube or anything, so I wasn't making money on YouTube at all. And so getting payouts was not happening. And then out of the blue I got $80. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy this game. And then I stupidly bought it with the wrong region off of one of those sites, and they won't refund it, so I have to try to sell it now. I'm gonna sell it at a loss or whatever, but I had to buy it a second time. But the $80 at least covered most of the price. You almost choked laughing, or choked because it scared you too? Glizzy, it scared you too. I'm sorry. Yeah, I've got jump scares. They're triggered on YouTube or Twitch, and they're pretty loud. And 7 did a scare a little bit ago, and the volume wasn't nearly as loud, and so it scared me, but it didn't like scare me down to my core. And then I turned up the volume like an idiot, and that like it scared me right down to my little bum. I had to clench it so hard, I pulled a hip muscle doing that. It scared me. Yeah, Night Owl, that's kind of what I'm hoping for. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be better than TikTok, but probably not great monetization on the shorts, especially because a lot of my shorts get like 100 views. But then my really good the ones that blow up on TikTok, you know, the ones that get like 50,000 views and up, they usually get over 1,000 on YouTube. I don't think I've ever gotten more than like 4,000 on YouTube. I don't want to save, but yeah, even just a little bit here and there. And you know, I don't think I have memberships turned on. If I do, I don't really have incentives, so I don't think I'm gonna have any memberships happen through YouTube. So I'm not super concerned about it. I prefer the link. Just because I don't feel the pressure. Wait, I went the wrong way, didn't I? Yeah, I did. I don't feel the pressure of having to like come up with member exclusive stuff through the link, whereas like through a membership, I feel like I have to keep up with something, and it's I feel like I'm ripping people off if they give me anything that way. Whereas at least through jump scares and stuff, then they scare me, so they get something out of it immediately. Glizzy, I did. I actually used to play a lot of retro stuff. But Mario 64, I used to speedrun that game. Not well. I wasn't like even a contender to get on the boards, but I used to speedrun that game. And so a lot of my stuff is Nintendo based because I did a lot of Nintendo before. But I did play Mario. I just don't. I haven't played Mario in a while. Mr. FOV, how are you feeling, man? How's your mouth? Yeah, we win Dead Space. I don't think I saw you on Tuesday. I streamed Tuesday. Funny story after I finished what I'm saying to Ewin. I streamed Tuesday, but I reset my whole computer, did a whole fresh install of Windows, and so I didn't have my password for restream, and I was already late for the stream, so I only streamed on TikTok. So I'm assuming you didn't see it because of that, unless you were busy and something came up. Then obviously, no big deal. I mean, obviously, then I'm mad at you, but there's probably a chance you didn't see it because I was on TikTok and not on Twitch or YouTube. But funny story about the stream on Tuesday. I streamed Elden Ring, and I worked on exploring the castle, and we made some progress. You're the jerk that attacked me last time. We made some progress, nothing too crazy. And then I sat down yesterday to play my private file to catch up, so I could see the castle, paying more attention instead of watching chat the whole time. And I realized I played the stream with my private character, and I didn't beat the boss guy that we were fighting, whatever his name is. I didn't beat him on stream. I beat him in my private file, and then I used the private file to play on stream. So I didn't beat him. I didn't get through the castle. I didn't get the extra soul, or the extra runes. None of that. So I had to go back with my stream file and do that, and I'm still not caught up to my private file. So I'm probably just going to continue on my private file for stream and convert my stream file to my private file. But I was pretty mad at myself that I did all that work on the wrong file. Your jaw is still sore. Yeah, it's probably going to persist for a while. Yeah, we went. I did a really short stream because I didn't set up the stream properly. Okay, Glizzy, thank you for popping in. Have yourself a good night. Hopefully my screaming didn't give you a nightmare. But thank you for taking the time to hang out. Yeah, so it bums me out that I did all that work on my private file, and now my stream file is so far behind. I beat the guy, that guy, on my very first try, so at least there's that, I guess. But still, I was still beating myself up pretty badly for having screwed up such a stupid screw up. Okay, I gotta pay attention because it's dark and scary here. Oh God! Oh. Okay. I like the fact that he actually gets blood on him, so that's cool. Oh, it absolutely isn't, Mr. FOV. It absolutely isn't. And you're only at the beginning stages. The pain gets worse. So definitely do something while you still can. It's so not worth it. But relapses happen. The important thing is to continue even after a relapse, right? I quit cold turkey when I stopped smoking, and I stopped for about a year and then relapsed for a couple of weeks and then went back to stopping it. Uh-oh. Whoa. Run past him, run past him. Okay. But yeah, the key is to get on that horse and continue riding. After I relapsed, I stopped, and then I haven't touched one since. And now I'm at the point that I don't even crave them. But that lasted for a while. It was a few years that I was still craving having a cigarette occasionally. And it eventually turned into only when I was incredibly stressed I would want one. Now I'm at the point that I'm like, nah. Now my problem is I'm addicted to like fast food, McDonald's and stuff. Funny guy, this is Dead Space, the remake. The one that just got released like a week or two ago. Crap, I keep going the wrong way. Alright, Falcon, have a good night. Thank you for popping in. I appreciate you hanging out. Guys, if you like Pokemon stuff, you should check out Falcon. He's got like an awesome Pokemon collection. He's a huge fan of Pokemon, so he's worth hanging out with. He's cool. Seven also just got back to streaming too.
Isaac, we can't stay here much longer. Hearing a lot of movement.
Hold on. I got the data board. I'm coming back to tram control now.
Daniel, get ready to go.
Okay, we found it. So I died last time because I didn't go the right way. We would have been fine. We would have gotten the data board and we would have been fine. Oh, man. Yeah, absolutely, Mr. FOB. Absolutely. But that's the anxiety of the addiction. It's your body wanting it and craving it, so you feel that way. It was the same thing when I had to stop taking my antidepressants that I was on years ago. I had the same thing. Out of the blue, I would just suddenly start sweating. First, it would just be like random sweating. But I've always been a sweaty guy, so that wasn't really alarming. But where it got alarming was where it got to the point where one time I got on the elevator. I was living in an apartment at the time. And by the time I reached the floor I was on, and I was on like the 12th floor. No, I was on the 22nd floor. By the time I reached the 22nd floor, my pants were soaked from how much I was sweating. And I don't sweat on my legs. I'm sweaty on my forehead and top of my head and my armpits. That's where I sweat the most. And my legs were drenched. And it was like midwinter, so it wasn't hot. And then I went to the bathroom and I felt like I was about to puke. Like I'm talking like on the brink. But I have a big phobia of throwing up, so I haven't thrown up in years, and so like I do everything possible not to. But the anxiety hit me so hard, and it happened like for a few days in a row. It just kept happening periodically, and then it clicked that it was withdrawal. Nice, we would. Some people, I think the biggest key for smoking is, and this isn't directed at you, Mr. FOV. I'm not commenting on you. The biggest key in quitting smoking, one, there is a physical addiction. Obviously, nicotine is addictive. That is just a chemical process, and that is something people are going to struggle with no matter what. Whether it's a struggle that you can just take care of or not is depending on the person. Another big part of the addiction is the physical habit of doing it. So like that was the hardest part for me. I didn't crave cigarettes so much as the habit of physically having the routine. For me, it was I would get in my car and I would smoke. And so every time I got in the car, it was really hard not to smoke because that was my habit. And so that part was the part I struggled with. And then a big part of it is actually wanting to quit. And there's a difference between saying you're going to quit because other people are telling you to, saying you're going to quit because you're afraid of, like Mr. FOV, who's dealing with health issues and is quitting to help his health, but isn't quitting because I'm not saying this for you, but I'm using your situation as an example. But people that don't quit because they legitimately just say, I don't want to do this anymore. Instead, it's, I don't want to do this because ABC. If the ABC isn't actively scary enough, then it's really easy to fall back into doing it. And then the third type is the people who are quitting because they just genuinely don't want to. Like, they just don't want to do it anymore. And so I was more of the second type. I was quitting because it was affecting my voice. And at the time I still sang. And so for me, it was very much, I'm quitting because singing is my life and it's affecting my voice, so I'm going to stop. But that was enough of a drive for me. But for a lot of people, especially when it's a health concern, even that is not always powerful enough. Like, the amount of women and men that I took care of that were in their 80s wearing full-blown oxygen masks because their lungs were destroyed were still asking me to push them outside in a wheelchair so they could light up. Because even though they were constantly in a state of drowning, they couldn't stop smoking because it wasn't enough for them. It wasn't scary enough. And by the time it was scary enough, they were on death's door. And so sometimes that motivation isn't enough. And so the struggle is a lot harder for those kind of people. But when you've decided mentally on your own that it's, you know what, I'm just done with this, I don't want to do it anymore, those people tend to not have to go back. And so that's kind of where, for me, the singing was that. But it was just like, I'm done. I want to keep singing. I don't really want to keep smoking, so I'm going to stop. And I did, and then that was it. So I guess what I'm getting at is, for like Mr. FOV, don't compare yourself to other people who had an easier time quitting, because everybody has their own motivations and their own struggles with those motivations. You know what I mean? All right, Mr. FOV, have yourself a good night. Keep up the good fight. If you fall and you go back to it, just dust yourself off and try again. It'll stick. It'll stick. I believe in you. I did it. You can do it. Okay. Definitely the plasma cutter. I am not worried about my suit right now. Although, I don't really care about my capacity. HP would be nice, though. What size do? Oh, the stasis zone. Although if I buy another... I'm going to buy a different suit, so let's just stick with the plasma cutter. Yeah, we win. And that's one of those health concerns that will motivate you, because it's not a if you keep going this will happen. Instead, it's a if I do it happens right away. And so that nauseousness makes it very easy to stop. Like, for me, I love pork. I grew up eating pork. Pork is a very big staple in my culture. So pork is huge. And I used to eat a lot of pork growing up. And then I cut back on pork, not for any good reason. I was way skinnier than I am now, but I was always told that I was really fat. And so, trying to like help myself not be fat, I cut back on pork because it's such a fatty food and it's really bad for cholesterol and stuff. So I cut back on pork to a point where like I really don't eat pork very often. Now, I've tried to make some stuff with pork. Like, we tried to make like a pork tenderloin. We tried to do pork chops. And every time, sorry, we're friends here. Every time I get really sick to my stomach. And so I haven't completely stayed away from pork because I want to stay away from pork for health. I've stayed away from pork because I actively get sick every time I have it. And so now that's been a motivation enough for me to just stay away from pork. Especially with heart problems, I really shouldn't be eating pork anyway. But the fact that I get sick over it is what makes it guaranteed that I'm not going to have pork very often. So it's the same with the cigarettes. It makes you nauseous right away. You're not going to want to do it anymore, right? And then that keeps you going. So that's important. That you... To remember that you have like an immediate reaction. Whereas for other people, like my dad smoked since he was like 11 years old. Well, 13. He started at 13. And then he quit. And he quit for about 4 or 5 years. And then he started smoking again because he was working at a place where one of his friends always went out for a cigarette. And so my dad would go out with him, and then eventually he started smoking again. And then he's like, you know what, I'm old now, I don't care, I'm not gonna stop smoking, I'm gonna stop trying to stop. And then he had a massive stroke. And now he quit cold turkey, and now he's not going back. Because he had something that immediately affected him in a very, very negative way. And so now he's disabled. And so that had an effect. But all the years of us telling him, you're going to have a stroke, you're going to have a heart attack, you're going to end up in a wheelchair, no effect until he ended up in the hospital. Thankfully, he didn't end up in the hospital, in the wheelchair or anything, but he's disabled now. That's the only reason he stopped. But for most people, that is too late. And so it's always important to remember that those things matter when it comes to quitting. I'm not talking to you, even just in general for anybody listening. Those things matter when it comes to quitting, because some people beat themselves up. They're like, Cindy Lou quit so easily. Why can't I? Because Cindy Lou may have had a reason that made it easy for her to quit, whereas you may not have enough of a reason to make it easy. Alana has said for years she's going to quit smoking. She still smokes. She's never really tried, because the only reason she wants to quit is because Nora and I have bugged her about it. She doesn't really want to quit. Sad part is that she may only quit when something bad happens. And I wish I could get her to stop, but she won't. And it's out of my hands, right? Really a bit extremely. Mr. FOV, I think a part of it is, yeah, I think because you've been so sick lately, and nothing's been serious. Like, it's been serious stuff, but nothing's been like life-threatening serious. But you've felt like enough trash that I think it's kind of brought mortality into your mindset, if that makes sense. You're also getting older. Like, you're still young, but you're getting older, and that mortality looms more and more the older you get. It's kind of where I am right now, is a lot of really important people in my life have died. And so, like, my conga player died, and he was a really good friend. And then his son died. And then, like, 2 weeks ago, his mom died. Or my conga player's wife. She died. And it's like, that whole family, like, what the hell? And then my grandmother died, and my grandfather died. And it's like, all these people that I grew up with that I never really understood that I would never see them again once they died, it hits close to home. And then it gets to, like, oh my god, everybody around me is going to die eventually. You know, like my parents and everybody that I grew up with, that I looked up to, are all going to be dead eventually. And then my friends, and then my siblings. It's like that starts to kind of put you in that mindset. And if you already have issues with anxiety, it's a lot harder to control that fear. Therapy definitely might help. It might help you kind of put things into perspective. But don't beat yourself up, because it is natural to have those moments in life where you feel very mortal, and it can be very scary. You know, when I got told by the doctor that he thought I had a heart attack, that really put a lot of pressure on me for the future, of like, what's going to happen with Nora if I die? What happens if I can't work anymore? Like, if I don't die, but I can't work anymore, I'm still too young to spend the rest of my life on disability. Not that there's anything against people going on disability. It's just, I still have too many hopes and dreams that I want to do that if I can't work, I won't be able to achieve. And to give up everything that I have because I wouldn't be able to afford my lifestyle on disability. And the fear of, I work completely alone. And so when I go in at night, if I were to drop dead at work, nobody would find me till 5 a.m. the next day. And so I could be dead all night long and nobody would know. Or I could be dying all night long and somebody could have helped me and nobody would know. And so it's like, those fears really stuck in my head. But they went away. I'm still cautious. I'm still worried that eventually I will have a heart attack, because I do have a heart issue. But it's normal to have those moments of mortality and being scared of how mortal we really are, because life is very fragile. Nursing school, boy, let me tell you, half of the semester I spent freaking out about what was going to kill me, because that's just life. Ghost, how you doing? Welcome. How are things going? But yeah, Mr. FOV, if you are like feeling overly anxious about it, yeah, maybe see if you can have a couple of therapy sessions just to give yourself a little bit of of venting space. But don't beat yourself up for feeling anxious. Oh god, where are you? There you are. Oh, you're still on the floor. But yeah, you're allowed to feel anxious. And you just went through like a relatively routine surgery, but it was a big deal. So don't negate the fact that you're feeling mortal because you just went through something that made you feel mortal. Something that was genuinely out of your control. And oh god, I'm out of health. And when something's out of your control, even if it's nothing major, it really brings into perspective how much is out of your control and how something much more serious can be a lot harder to handle. One of my friends right now on TikTok, actually, she just got diagnosed with cancer recently, and she's going through the whole process of that. And she's young. Like, she's very, very young. Yeah, Night Owl. And those are like for the up until I got the okay that no, it wasn't a heart attack, it was just an anomaly. That I definitely have heart issues, and the cardiologist is concerned, but not concerned in the sense of like, oh my god, something might happen to you. More concerned in like, instead of living to 80, you're gonna live to like 70 because your heart isn't gonna be able to keep up, or that I am at a higher risk of a heart attack and stroke. So like, let's do something about it now so we can avoid that then. Or later. But up until that point, yeah, it all the suggestions were take it easy, don't do too much exercise, don't have anything that'll like bring up your heart rate. If you feel your heart rate starting to go up, sit down, take a few breaths, relax. And just that limitation all of a sudden was like, oh my god, like what? That little bit is changing my life in such a drastic way, even though it's not really changing my life in any drastic way because I'm not a super fitness freak, but I'm like, you know, I like to do theater, and that gets your heart pumping. And if I have heart issues, then I can't do that anymore. I like jump scares. If I have heart issues and I did have a heart attack and my heart is in danger, I can't do that anymore. As soon as the doctor said it was okay, it was a huge eye-opening experience of like, oh my god, that could be my path. So yeah, it can be very, very hard to just take it down a notch. It can be very sobering. Things are good, Ghost. Things are good. Just here hanging out, playing this game, continuously getting lost, enjoying this whole like couch setup. Very fearful of touching my computer. If you didn't see my TikTok, I showed proof of it, and even on the TikTok, I had only sat on the couch for about 30 seconds. But now that I've been sitting for a while, it's going to be really bad. For those of you who don't know, I don't know what's going on with my couch, but for some reason, it's building up a lot of static electricity in me. And when I touch my computer, it actually like disables my monitors. It was at one point I was sitting here like making sure that the microphone was in the right place, and I was using my mouse to make sure everything was like set up properly on the computer. And then I stood up to type something out and I touched my desk. The spark was so big that it hurt. Not only did it hurt, it reset my computer, and it actually disabled my Go XLR. My volume on my Go XLR was down to like 6%, and I couldn't bring it up because of the static electricity. And I only sat for like half an hour at that point. I've been sitting here for a couple of hours. I'm really nervous about when I get up and touch that desk. It's gonna hurt really badly. Like really, really badly. It's haunted. It is. It is. She just can't be as active. Oh yeah, absolutely, Night Owl. Absolutely. So many people that were very physical. There's quite a few that I've seen, and this isn't a comment on their looks. It's not anything like that, but there's quite a few people that I've seen that were very fit people. Like healthness model style fitness people who are now like borderline overweight because their life was revolving around eating healthy, going out and exercising. Like their life was that. And so they weren't thin because they were naturally thin. They were thin because they worked at it, but they worked at it in a very strict routine. So when that routine was broken, they couldn't keep it up at home. And so they gained a lot of weight. And that's just the physical aspect. That doesn't bring into account all the health aspects that other people went through that you don't just physically see. COVID really did a number on people outside of what COVID does. It's really affected people in a lot of ways. A lot of people who were very social butterfly, outgoing, happy people are now struggling with depression. Even though they're back to a relatively normal life, they're struggling with depression because they hit that slump and they've never been able to recover from that slump. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened. I was already pretty antisocial by the time COVID hit, but even me, I'm desperate to get back on stage because I'm hoping to find some kind of normal aspect to my life again, because my life is very, very, very lonely. I think my life is the type of lonely that an average person would not be able to handle, because I can go days and days without saying a word to anybody except for Nora. Like, I will go days where Alana and I will not speak a word to each other. And I don't text people. And if I do, they don't answer back. There's a few people that I text that I'll go like weeks without hearing a response from them. And, they'll leave me on red. And I don't hang out with people. My parents don't call me. And so, like, I'll literally go days where I don't talk to anybody at all. I don't use my voice except for with Nora. And even then, it's usually, how was school, honey? Good. And then she goes and sits on her tablet and doesn't talk to me the rest of the day. And so, like, it's me in silence for days. And I work by myself. And so, like, at work, it's complete silence. So I think the average person wouldn't be able to handle the type of loneliness I deal with every day. But because I was already antisocial, this is just kind of it's lonely, but not a devastating loneliness. But I'm really desperate, like, because it's affected me too. I'm desperate to get back into theater and stuff, just to at least, how can I explain it? Bring it to an extreme where I'm like having to be very, very social to kind of kickstart some kind of social normalcy. So then that way, when I'm out of it, at least there's something going on, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's definitely affected a lot of people in much deeper ways than just long hauler COVID. Was smoking, yeah, it was crazy at 30-16, would chain smoke 3 to 4 15-minute breaks. Yeah, and Dakota, a big thing is when you're young, it's easier to bounce back from it. Smoking causes permanent damage. Somebody who smokes even like a year's worth has damage that will never ever go away. But when you're young, that damage can be so little that it won't ever have any long-term effect. When you're young, there's also the pressure of the people around you. A lot of young smokers, especially high school smokers, aren't smoking because they want to smoke. It's not like they're sitting there going, "Oh man, all I want is to smell like an ashtray." It's the social pressure. Your friends are all smoking, they're all cool, so you're smoking with them. And I'm speaking from experience, even though a lot of teenagers aren't willing to admit it until they're older. A lot of the excess of drinking, excess of smoking, is almost like a machismo thing. It's in Spanish, "Quién es más macho?" It's the who's tougher. And like, if your friend smoked 3 cigarettes, well, you're gonna smoke 4 because you can handle more than he can. And then you're going to egg him on, and then so he's going to smoke 4 because he's got to keep up with you, because there's no way you could smoke more than him. And so it's like that builds up that addiction, which makes it worse. So then by the time that social aspect of it, the time you don't need to flex anymore, the time that you don't need to show off to your friends anymore, because now you are your own person and you're not really needing to impress anybody, but by that point, the addiction has set in. And then you can't not smoke the 4 cigarettes every time you go outside. And that effect is very different at that point. But when you're a teenager, there's a lot more psychological aspect to it versus the physical aspect to it. So getting that scare makes it easier to kind of walk away from it. Whereas once you're older, it's a lot harder to walk away from it because you've ingrained it for so long. So I'm glad you were able to walk away from it. Yeah, Night Owl, absolutely. Absolutely. I think for me, it's been refreshing because a lot more people are speaking the way I used to speak. I used to get made fun of a lot by a lot of my more successful friends. My family family as in my parents, really wouldn't let me live down the fact that I always said that I would rather starve and do what I enjoy than to use my brain in a way that I'm not enjoying and be wealthy. Because thankfully I was always very blessed at being good at school. And I would have been capable of a lot had I been interested in money, because I've always done well in school. So I could have gotten a really good career in like architecture or some kind of science. But if my heart isn't in it, I don't have interest in doing it. And so even though my grades were always really good in math, I didn't find interest in it. What I liked about math is that it was straightforward. Straightforward as in like 1 + 2 is 3. Whereas something more philosophical like religion or philosophy or even history, it's not as cut and dry. There's a lot more speculation. There's a lot more faith involved. And I don't mean religious faith. I just mean like when you're talking about like dinosaurs, you have to have faith that the science that you've learned about the animals that exist now, that it's going to kind of dictate what happened to the dinosaurs. And it's like sometimes that doesn't translate properly, and that I couldn't make that leap of just like, I don't know the answer, so I'm gonna guess. So math was always good for me because it was very, this is what the answer is, period. But my life was always, no, I want to be an artist, and I don't care if I'm poor. I want to enjoy my life, even if I have nothing at the end of it. And now seeing more people kind of saying that they want that makes it almost, it makes me more hopeful that I'll have more of a chance to do that, and that other people will not make it to an older age regretting their life, if that makes sense. Maybe shot for shot with alcohol. Metaphoric. You must have hung out with very different people than I did, because my friends, that was always a big thing when we were young. I'm not talking like 17, 18-year-old teenagers. I'm talking like 14-year-olds. My friends started smoking really, really young. And that was one of the things that they always kind of did with each other, is like, you know, one guy would take a puff of his cigarette and the other would be like, you puff like a little wimp. They would use other terms that are a lot less acceptable nowadays. But, you know, and then he'd be like, no, I don't. And then he would take like a really big puff. And then he'd start coughing. And then his friend would laugh. Like the other guy would laugh. And then he'd be like, yeah, watch me. And then he would take a really big puff. And it's like that just constant like egging each other on. And it wasn't like every single time they went out they did that. But it was enough times that they built up to it. And now like one of them smokes like way more than a pack a day. Just because he always egged himself on that way. And they couldn't be out without smoking. It was just kind of that thing. Thankfully for me, it was just, I never, because of the neurodivergent thing, I always tried to fit in, but if I didn't like something, I wasn't gonna do it, whether or not it made me cool, because I was always so uncool growing up that it just didn't bother me. You know what I mean? Yeah, Night Owl. I'm the same way. I need a challenge. I need the excitement. I need to mix it up. That's why I liked theater so much, is that every play was different, or every musical was different. Every challenge involved was different. And, you know, one show I could be the weakest character on stage as far as like my own acting skill. Like I just couldn't keep up with how talented everybody else was. Then in the next show, I might be the only one that had any like real skill as an actor, and I'm stuck with a bunch of people that have zero clue what they're doing, and it's up to me to kind of bring them up with me. by making the scene better for them, if that makes sense. Because I was always the big believer of, I don't want to be on stage to shine, I want to be on stage to make you shine. And by being on stage with somebody who outshines me, it forces me to be better at what I'm doing. And so I loved that about being on stage, is, you know, sometimes I'd be with somebody who was an objectively bad actor. And so it was a challenge for me to make them a better actor by making the scene work with their limitations in their skills. And so I loved that. I loved that about art. And I hated the fact that I still had to do a real job to make art a thing for me, because I just didn't make enough money as an actor. And it really sucked. We would, yeah. I think only until recently, like maybe the last, maybe the last 5 years, 4 years, I've made enough of a living where I can see the benefit of having extra money, because I can have extra hobbies and enjoy them. But I also see the drawback that I don't have the freedom that I had before. When I had no money and nobody relying on me, sure, I didn't have a nice car. I had like a 15-year-old car that was like a rust bucket, and I had like a cheap TV. At one point I sold all my furniture and all my electronics because I had no money. You know, and I lived in a cheap bachelor apartment full of roaches, and it was horrible. But I was acting. I was auditioning constantly. I was doing shows all the time. I was out with friends all the time. Whereas now it's like, no, I have to make a living, and I can't not work. And yeah, I have a nicer car. You know, I like my car. I you know, I have a decent TV. I was able to, you know, do things like I bought my tablet, stuff like that. And sure, that stuff's cool, but I miss being on stage. I miss being able to just go to rehearsals and not worry about where I'm gonna pay the next bill from. Not having giant bills that I need to pay. I miss that. Yeah, I'm the same. I like having a steady job where I don't have to think, and I have a routine, and I can just do the routine. I hate when they mess with my routine. It's really rough. Like recently they had a couple of guys stay overnight where I was working, and they were nice enough. Side note, it was the first time I was treated like I was mentally disabled. It was really weird. It was a really weird experience, because I don't tell people that I'm still struggling with like my own preconceived ideas of what it is to be autistic, and I still don't feel comfortable calling myself autistic. I still say that there's a chance I'm autistic. I feel fake, I guess, because I have my own ideas of what autism should be. Even though I check off a whole bunch of stuff, I still don't feel comfortable saying, yeah, I'm autistic. I feel like I'm being fake. But Alana told them I was. And not in a way of like putting me down. She said it because they're very chatty, and she didn't want them to think that I was being a jerk when I would ignore them all night. And so she told them, she's like, you know, he's not going to be very chatty. He's autistic, so he's not going to be much for talking. So just be prepared. He's not being rude. It's just that's how he is. And they talked to me like I was mentally disabled. And it was weird. A weird experience for me. Because the more I tried to act normal, the more the autism came out. And it was very hard for me. But anyway, what I'm getting at is they stayed overnight, and they were super, super nice. But they screwed with my routine, and it really threw me off. Plus, the way they treated me just made it worse. Because I like to do things in a very set way at work, and they were in the area that I start. And so, because I couldn't start there, I had to start on the opposite side, and that just threw me off for the rest of the night. And so I feel you with that. And same thing. Because of the routine, work gets boring. And after a few months, it's very hard for me to feel motivated at work because it gets boring. So I totally feel you with that one. Chadley, how you doing? How are things going? Self-diagnosis is valid enough. I agree. I think it's just... I just feel fake for myself. And not like a not like I'm being fake as in self-diagnosis isn't good enough. I mean, I feel like I'm being fake as in people are gonna look at... That scared me. Daz, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate that. Welcome. But I feel fake as in, like, every time I bring it up to anybody, they're like, well, you don't seem autistic. Or you're looking me in the eyes. And I still have, like, I know that that's not what autism is, but I still have that kind of ingrained. And so then I'm like, yeah, I do look at you in the eyes, even though it's because of theater school, but like I look at you in the eyes. So maybe I'm not autistic. Maybe there's something else wrong with me. And I'm trying to say it's autism because autism for me is more comfortable than what's actually the problem. You know, like maybe I'm what's it called? People who are self-centered. I can't think of the word. But you know the people who manipulate everybody, they're self-centered, they manipulate people, and they don't really connect with people. Narcissistic. Because I've had people tell me that in the past. I've had an ex-girlfriend call me narcissistic, and not in we're arguing you're narcissistic, but in you need to get help because you're narcissistic. And so it's like, maybe I'm that. But then when I read the criteria, I'm like, I don't fit this. Like, where I fit it is in the I want things done the way I want them done, because I have my routine and I want my routine. But this person in particular interpreted it as I wanted a slave and I'm going to guilt you into being my slave, where it was like, no, I want my routine and I'm struggling with not having that routine. So it's like I convince myself that it's like, no, I'm not autistic. I'm just too scared to admit that I'm this. And so it's like, that's what I struggle with in telling people. And because I don't check off the regular stereotypical Hollywood autism traits, I feel like a fraud, if that makes sense. And like when I watch my streams back and I'm talking, I'm like, I feel like I seem natural when I talk. When I talk to people, they seem to tell me that I'm very natural in the way I speak. And so it's like, well, then that's like one of the biggest things with autism is there's that struggle with socializing. And I'm like, yeah, I can fake it really well, but I also burn out very, very easily. I came to this conclusion recently, actually, really recently, after one of these conversations on stream. In theater school, this is when it really, really stuck out to me. In theater school, I spent all day with the people in my class. My class in theater school was about 40 people. We were split into two groups. It was 20 and 20. But we spent every day, all day together. And I lived in a house with all my classmates. Not all of us, but there was like 7 of us there. And it was like the party house. Everybody came to hang out there. It wasn't really party, but we all came to watch movies and talk about scripts and plays and whatever. So I saw the same faces after school. I saw the same faces at school. We all went out drinking on the weekends when we were home. When we were there and not home. So I saw them all day long. And I struggled a lot because I would hang out with them, and at the beginning of the night, I'd be having fun. I'd be chatting, and I'd be laughing, and there's pictures of me being stupid and making faces and whatever. But inevitably, by the end of the night, I became an emotional wreck. And not crying. Shut up, Siri. I'm not talking to you. But not like I'd be crying. It was more like I'd be really depressed and just feeling really down and feeling really miserable. And I'd always, like, I'd hate myself for it because I'm like, we were just having a really good time. And now I'm sitting here going, they don't even want to be around me. They hate me, and I don't want to be here anymore. And I would beat myself up. And now with this whole autism thing and having, researched it and all that, it's like, I was burning out. I would spend all day socializing that by the time the evening came that we would all go out drinking, I was already on the verge of burning out. And I would push myself to hang out with these guys. And then at like 1 a.m, I was done. And so like I would melt down and shut down. And for me, because I wasn't considering autism or burnout or anything, for me it was I'm getting depressed. It's like, no, I'm burnt the fuck out. I don't want to be around these people right now. I need to be alone. But when I would try to leave, they would guilt me with the whole of like, no, come on, just stay. We're having a good time. And then eventually they would see me in the burnout stage, and then they would shun me because it was like, oh, he's so depressive at the end. He's so negative by the end of the night. And by the time we graduated, they didn't want to hang out with me anymore. And it's like, it's not that I was being depressive. I was burnt the fuck out. And if I would have known that, I could have set that boundary of being, hey, I need to go home because I'm starting to burn out. I need to kind of unwind on my own. So it's like those things make me go, yeah, that's clearly autism. But because I can joke around and I can act like everybody else acts, and I can, for the most part, understand double meanings, and I can understand people, I feel fake. And so it's like, that's what I struggle with a lot. That's really hard for me sometimes. We win. Yeah, Night Owl, exactly. And that's exactly it. Yeah, I'm the same way, Night Owl. Once I'm done, I'm done. Like, I'm done, and I shut right down, and then I get in my own head, and it's the whole, like, why am I not having fun? Everybody else is having fun. I was just having fun. What's wrong with me? And that leads me into that spiral of depression of, like, well, if I see myself this way, and I'm so negative, and I'm so bad, then they don't want to be around me, and, like, that's probably why I'm single at the time. That's probably why I'm single. That's why women don't like me, and, like, look, the hard part for me, self-esteem wise, in my class of 40, every single one of my classmates slept with at least one of my other classmates. Except for me. I was the only one that didn't have any kind of adult interaction with anybody while I was in college. And I felt so rejected by it, because even the kids who had, like, the worst hygiene, who smelt horrendous, ended up, yeah, I'm gonna be blunt about it, they ended up getting laid. And I'm sitting here at, like, 20 years old, 19 years old, going, like, what's wrong with me? Why doesn't anybody like me? It was me, and then one guy had to repeat a year, so he ended up in my class. He was in the year ahead of me, and he is autistic, and he is the very Hollywood stereotypical autistic. He was the only other one that nobody wanted anything to do with. And so for me, it was very hard on my self-esteem. And so, like, when I was in that burnout phase, that really bothered me. Now, if I knew then what I know now, it would have been a very different experience for me, because I would have known, hey, I'm burning out. I need to walk away from this right now. Instead, it just became a self-loathing thing. And that sucks. That really sucks. And not sucks in, like, I'm depressed about it way. It just sucks because, man, I could have had such a better experience in college had I had known this from the start. You know what I mean? Hello, Nikki. Nice to see you. Social fatigue and burnout is also... Yeah, it's also a symptom of ADHD, for sure. For sure it is. And at first, like, when I first got diagnosed with the ADHD thing, that's one of the things that really stuck out to me, is the social burnout. But what I'm finding through the research and through the readings and through other people's experiences is that the burnout I'm experiencing is very different than the ADHD burnout. The burnout I'm experiencing is more along the lines of, I have spent the whole day thinking 5 steps ahead of everybody. And not in, like, I'm smarter than you, I'm gonna trick you. I'm thinking 5 steps ahead in the way of, like, if I say this, they're probably gonna say one of these 3 things, and what they're probably gonna mean is this. So how do I get them to understand what I'm trying to say? And what language do I use to sound casual about it? Because the way I speak on stream now is not the way I spoke. I was always very well spoken. That was always one of the things that a lot of people always commented on about me, is that I was always very well spoken. But when I would hang out with certain groups, I'd have to talk in certain ways to fit in. And so it's like that constant analyzing of what I'm saying to make sure I'm being cool the way you think I'm cool, or the way you think things are cool. on the go all the time was very hard for me, and trying to understand what they're saying in the way they meant it was what burned me out, because it wasn't just being around people, it was the being around people and understanding what's happening with these people that was hard for me. A perfect example of me not understanding what is happening. I never found it weird growing up to somebody's having a conversation right next to me and to kind of participate because they're having a loud conversation next to me in class. And I remember one time this guy was talking, and he was talking about sleeping with a girl. And he was one of those guys that all the girls liked him and whatever, and he was really popular, and he was talking to another girl about getting laid or whatever over the weekend. And I misinterpreted what he was saying. I still to this day don't know what he was actually meaning with what he was saying. And I stepped in with, trying to be cool, like, we're both guys, we get it. And I stepped in with something along the lines of like, oh man, yeah, like when you do that with a girl, it's fucking, it sucks, doesn't it? And he just looked at me, and I remember I was so humiliated because in class he stood up and he's like, bro, what the fuck are you even trying to say, man? Like I'm here and you're like here, but like I don't know where you are, so like build it and I will come. Like, let me know what you're trying to say. Like, build a sign for me to follow what conversation you're having. Because, like, bro, you have no clue what the fuck I'm saying right now. And it was humiliating that he humiliated me in front of the whole class that way at 16, when, like, being cool is kind of like the big thing in your life. And for me, it was just I didn't understand what he was trying to tell me. I didn't understand what he was, like, I didn't understand if he was making a joke to joke with me, or making a joke at my expense, or making a joke to kind of like, that was awkward, here's a joke to kind of break the awkwardness. I have no clue. And so like that's kind of what socializing is for me. And so I'm always on not on guard, but I'm always, when I'm having a conversation with somebody face to face, I always have to analyze everything they're saying and doing, because I want to make sure that I'm not being weird. And that's what exhausts me. That's the burnout that I get, is that I'm always trying to figure out what's going on and how to approach it without being weird about it, or without being a dick about it. And so it's like that's hard for me to do. And that's where I burn out. And that's where, like, it's not so much that I'm around people, it's that I'm always on. And that's where I'm like, okay, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Yeah, different masking for different groups, exactly. All right, Nikki, I appreciate you popping in, though. Have a safe walk to school. Yeah, and exactly, like I said, I have ADHD. That one is diagnosed, and I'm sure there is the ADHD aspect to it all. And I think that also is what helps me mask the autism more. But it's definitely more obvious to me now because of the ADHD medications. It's almost like they balanced each other out when I'm not on them. But now that the ADHD medication is under control, the autism stuff is really shining, and it's making it a lot harder for me. But it's also making it a lot more obvious to me. So it's interesting. It's interesting, to say the least. And part of me wishes that I could kind of go back and redo some stuff.
But it seems operational.
Quarantine lockdown's lifted, so you can get to the hangar. Comms are still down though, so be ready for anything.
What's the plan?
You and Johnston fix up the Kellyan. We report to the bridge. Standard emergency protocol.
What? Protocol? Hammond, people are dying here.
And I'm not losing anyone else. We stick to procedure. We'll get through this.
We'll see.
Sorry, Alana's messaging. It's so hard for me to read chat just because it's just slightly too small. Yeah, night owl. And then and that's one thing that I'm, again, because I feel fraudulent, part of me is going, is like, I'm almost doubling down on myself, where I'm like, okay, so I don't fit the stereotypical criteria. Funny thing is, I fit more of like the women's symptoms when it comes to autism than the male symptoms, or the traditionally male symptoms. But the funny thing is that I'm sitting here going, I don't match. And then I'm like, but I'm feeling these weird things. So maybe it's because I'm not actually ADHD either. And maybe I'm just on these meds and they're the ones making me feel this way, because I'm not actually either. And this is just the wrong treatment. I'm going down the wrong path. And so it's like, I almost, instead of going, no, this is making it shine, it's making it more obvious, it's, for me, it's going, no, this is making it worse. So clearly it's not even the right first step. It's so frustrating. Although that could be a possibility, right? The medication I'm on may not be the right medication and may just exacerbate anything else that's going on. So who knows? But I'm trying really hard to kind of accept myself. I think right now what's making it harder for me to not fixate this way is because I'm not socializing. So I'm not seeing myself be put in those situations where the autism would really show. Now, with the knowledge that I have, to be able to go, yeah, that's definitely happening. Instead, I'm by myself. And I'm talking to a camera right now. So it's really easy for me to be casual in front of a camera. I'm also starting to get to that burnout phase at this moment because I'm tired. But it's like, I won't know until I'm actively around people on a regular basis to really know how I'm feeling with the new knowledge that I have. But who knows, right? Who knows? Yeah, our brains are totally weird. Our brains are totally weird. You did notice how much the autism came through? Yeah, the one reason that does make me think that maybe the medication may not be right that I'm on is that it's actually made my scatterbrain worse. I've gotten more motivated. I've gotten more energy from the medication, and the depressive feelings I was feeling aren't as bad as they were before. So it's definitely helping, but my scatterbrain is a lot worse. I am way more forgetful than I was. My memory is actually really bad right now, and like scary bad, because here's an example. Alana asked me to pull out some food, like some steaks from the fridge, so they would warm all day, so they would be at room temperature by the time we cooked them. She woke up in the evening and I hadn't pulled them out. She got upset with me because I hadn't pulled them out. I don't remember her telling me that. Here's where it gets really weird, and this is where it like almost scares me. At that moment, after she walked away, I remember her telling me that. And now I don't remember that anymore. I remember remembering that she told me, but I don't actually remember her telling me anymore. And so it's like, it's almost a double layer of forgetting. So it's like, she told me, and I remember the memory of remembering the memory. It's really messed up. And stuff like that happens to me a lot, where like today, I know I picked up Nora from school. I know I brought her home. Most of the day is a blank. I don't remember. I know I had pizza for dinner. But a lot of my day is just a blank. But I'm hoping that that's more due to the fact that I'm not doing anything all day long. Like, I'm not socializing, so I'm not really... My days are just kind of blending together, so my brain's kind of just not remembering things because I'm not doing anything right now. I'm hoping that once I get back into theater, it'll help kind of stimulate that again, but kind of... That makes me wonder if maybe the medication just isn't right and the medication's making me forgetful. It's... Medicine sucks. It's so complicated. Yeah, exactly, Night Owl. And that's exactly it. Is with content creation, once I'm done, I'm done. I can just walk away. I don't have to do it. If I don't feel like doing it, I don't have to. Whereas, like, with real life socializing, if I promise I'm going to do something and I don't do it, I feel like trash about it. Or if I'm out with people and it's like after an hour I'm done, I'm obligated to continue until they tell me they're done. and then that makes the whole experience just a bad experience. And so, like, the content creation thing is nice because I can just make my content, walk away, and that's it. It's done and over with. I can stream, and when I'm tired, I can just stop streaming. Like on Tuesday when I streamed, I started late. I was already in a bad mood because I started late. I was already, because I had pushed myself so hard to try to get started on time, I had almost like pushed myself to burnout mode from like all the stress and trying to get it done, that by the time the stream started, I wasn't really in the mindset to stream, but I streamed for an hour and it was over and it was fine. Whereas like if it was real life socializing and it would have already gone bad and I have to be there for 3 or 4 hours, probably wouldn't have ended as well as it did. I have to stop soon though, because like I said, I'm starting to get burnt out. I'm tired. Because I've been talking a lot tonight. Shut up, Siri. I've been talking a lot, and it was a very, very long day. I only slept about 3 hours. And I didn't get to take a nap or anything. So I'm just tired. So I probably won't be going far too long. Maybe another 10 minutes. I really like how this game looks, though. Now that I chatted for half the stream instead of actually playing, I can go back to actually enjoying the game. I don't have any stasis. You are a distraction. But it's a good distraction because that means I'm not scared all the time. That's one thing that the meds have helped with is I'm a lot more aware of the chat now. Uh-oh. When I first started streaming, it was not uncommon to forget that I was streaming and have to watch chat. Not that I was streaming, but to forget to look at chat. It wasn't uncommon for me to just kind of go 15-20 minutes without looking at chat and then missing a whole bunch of messages. Now, on the other hand, it's really easy for me to remember chat. It's really hard for me to remember the game. I want to see this in full HDR, but I don't want to play without you guys watching. But I'm too scared to restart the game when I'm by myself. Too scared to like plug it in and restart all on my own. I'm loving this though.
Isaac, we made it to the bridge. There's no survivors. Daniels is trying to get into the command computer.
Why are there no stasis refills? Your sleep is always a mess. Mine's only a mess because of just the way that my life is. Just because, you know, I work late and then I have to be up relatively early to pick up Nora. But oh my god, the CPAP machine, the machine that I use for my sleep apnea, it has been a life changer. On the days that I don't have to get up to do anything and that my body remembers I don't have to be up to do anything, I can sleep a solid 8 hours and genuinely sleep through the night. Because before it was very broken. Like it was, I would sleep and then I'd be aware but not fully awake and then go back to sleep and then aware and then back to sleep. Now I put the mask on and I take melatonin to sleep just because my brain is always so active that I can be up for hours just with my brain going. But I put the mask on, I take my melatonin, I put my mask on. Within 15 minutes, I am passed right out, and then I'm asleep for the rest of the night. It is so nice. It's I can proudly say that I can have a really, really good night's sleep. It's just my life isn't built for that right now, which sucks. Yeah, I would forget to watch chat. But this game, I'm enjoying it a lot. Like I wanna just keep playing. But I think what's helping me is, disclaimer, this article is sponsored by CECs. Imagine a world of basic resources like fuel, blah blah. Oh, it's just a propaganda. I think what's helping me right now pay more attention to chat is because my streams aren't as long as they used to be. You know, I used to do 3-4 hour streams, 4 or 5 hour streams, and I would stream maybe 4 times a week. I had way more opportunity to talk to everybody. And so now I feel like there's not a lot of opportunity to talk to people. So it's like all I want to do is chat because, one, I'm not talking to anybody all day long. And two, I feel like, hey, we've only got an hour to hang out, 2 hours to hang out. I need to get as much talking done in those 2 hours. Well, I'm glad you enjoy the stream, Dakota. I like the fact that it's like just a hanging out, chatting type of environment, you know? I think the Elden Ring, Dark Souls streams are a little bit rougher because you get a lot of people that are part of the community who want to see gameplay. They're not interested about me. They want to just see me play the game. So there's more of a struggle to kind of have that chilled out vibe. But yeah, I absolutely love just hanging out and chatting. Where are you? Who's calling me? Oh, you're in there. Hold on, I want to just see there's no bullets or anything. He still has a beast stomp, but not as severe as it was in the first game. The first game sounds like he had a wrecking ball for a shoe.
Did my best. Singularity. What have you got on you? Is that blood?
Haley, I need you to listen. The Ishimura's overrun with... they're fucking monsters. You didn't hear anything?
What? No, the comms are still out. Isaac...
We need the Killian fixed now. Got a damage report?
Yeah, it's there.
Man, ray tracing, I love it. Uh-oh.
Go!
Crap. What does this mean? You got platinum? Holy crap. Uh-oh. She killed herself and then destroyed our ship. That's a cool little detail I hadn't noticed because I haven't been paying enough attention. The flesh actually comes off of their limbs. You just don't cut cleanly off. There's flesh actually being removed. Oh god.
Isaac, What's happening down there?
Johnson's gone. And Kellyan too. The singularity core overloaded.
No!
Kellyan was our only way home. We're trapped.
No! I'm not losing two good people for nothing. What about the command computer?
It's a brick. All the primary systems are locked down with the captain's codes.
So we find Captain Matthias, track his rig.
Okay. Okay, here. Captain Benjamin Matthias. Location medical. Status deceased?
Even the captain? God.
Isaac, you're closer to medical. You can double back and cut through maintenance. Find the captain's body and get his rig. With his codes, we... What was that?
Uh-oh.
Chen?
Okay, Hammond, run!
Although, I don't feel any pity for these guys because, like, I just took on a whole bunch by myself and you're both together and only have one. Cry me a river. Dakota, that's really kind of you to say. That's really kind of you to say. It's always flattering when somebody enjoys a stream. And not just like a passing enjoyment, but like genuinely enjoys the content and looks forward to it. That's always really flattering. I hate that I can't stream as often as I would like or as long as I would like. Like my Thursday streams are fairly long. Like today we started a little bit after 10:30. So 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, about 3 hours. But it's still... I wish I could do 3-hour streams all the time and maybe do like a 4-hour stream on special occasions. But I don't have the energy and I just don't have the schedule for it. It really sucks. Alrighty, let's save. We streamed for 3 hours and we got an hour and 15 minutes of gameplay. That's how talented I am. Yeah, it's. I think it's fun. I think it's a. It's just like a. I'm trying not to make this into everybody's stream, if that makes sense. Everybody's stream tends to look the same and have there's a certain like streamer feel to every stream. Not every stream, but like the popular streams. There's like a professionalism to streams, a certain way that it's done. And I'm trying to like not do that. I'm trying to just be more of a let's chill out, hang out, play some video games and enjoy the video game for the sake of enjoying the video game and not for the competition, not for the showing off of skills, not for like the wild party, but instead just like if you guys were to come over and just sit on my couch as we're playing and just chatting. That kind of thing. Like I don't think Preston popped in today. If he did, he's just watching and not talking. But Preston can vouch for this is how it is when he's come over. Maybe not playing video games, we tend to just sit with like nothing on and just not nothing on. I would be embarrassed to wear nothing in front of Preston because that dude's got like an Adonis body. But like, you know, no TV, no music or anything. We're just sitting and chatting. And that's kind of what I want my stream to feel like is we're just sitting and chatting. And playing video games just as a distraction to kind of have it on in the background and enjoy the video game outside of not having to just show you how good I am at it. Although Soulsborne stuff, I like to have challenges just for the fun of like how goofy I am when I suck at it. But anyways, I should get out of here. I gotta go pick up Alana in the next little while. And I want to make sure I'm not distracted with the stream and have her texting me and standing outside in the cold while I'm just here trying to kill some necromorphs. I'm liking this. We'll continue with this on Thursday. For sure. Next Thursday, we'll continue with this. I'll be live again tomorrow. I don't know what time. I'm hoping that I'll be up early enough that I can do my afternoon stream. And we'll continue with some Elden Ring. Alana doesn't need me to go anywhere tomorrow, so I should be good to just stream. I shouldn't have to, because last week I had to go to Costco, and then she slept in for work, so by the time I dropped her off and I'd come in and set up, it was just a routine. It threw off my routine, and I just couldn't get myself into it, and I was already exhausted to begin with, so I just didn't want to have a miserable stream. But tomorrow should be pretty straightforward. I should be able to just start streaming. Get up, shower, and then go. And then we'll continue with some more Elden Ring. We're going to continue with my private file instead, the one that I messed up and made progression on. And I'll keep the one that I was originally doing for the stream. I'll keep that for myself and just kind of play on my own. I'm still trying to follow the same path, but just pay attention to it so I know what's actually happening in the story, because it's hard for me when I'm on stream to really pay attention and get involved. Kind of what's happening right now is I'm enjoying it, but I'm not like super freaked out and into the game because I'm chatting so much. So I'm going to try to do that privately so I can still get the enjoyment of the fear and the story, just like I'm gonna do with Elden Ring, of like enjoying the scenery and stuff on my own. But we'll be back tomorrow. I'll probably be on the couch again. I'm really liking this couch setup. I feel like it looks really good, but it also looks very casual. I like that. So I might keep up the setting that I have now. We'll see. But everybody else, thank you so much for hanging out. I really appreciate you all chatting with me. Yes, Dakota, I should be live tomorrow. As long as nothing gets in the way or that I don't sleep in. I might sleep in, but I hope not. If I sleep in, I will definitely be streaming in the afternoon. But as of right now, I'm hoping to stream earlier, like my regular time. But yeah, I should get out of here. Let me shut off TikTok, because I think, yeah, there's a few people in TikTok, but it's a quieter stream on TikTok. So I will say goodnight to you all first. Thank you everybody on TikTok for following and watching and hanging out and being here. Hope you enjoyed me being freaked out, even though we had a couple of jump scares early on. But I was really distracted, so I didn't get super scared by the end of it. But I gotta try to like zone in and get into it, because the fear is what makes these games so much fun. I want to get a VR horror game, because I'd like to be scared on VR. Anyways, all right, I'm out of here. So thank you so much, TikTok. Have a good night. Did it stop? Did it not stop? Oh, it opened the window. It just didn't stop it. It's on the wrong window. I can't see it. No. Hold on. I can't see it. What? It's not letting me click. It's not letting me click it goodbye. I'm just gonna like close the window. Hopefully that works. I don't know. YouTube, I'm still around. I went to like the stop the stream, but TikTok brings up a warning that it's like, do you want to stop the stream? And this is how you did. And I clicked it and it wasn't stopping the stream, and the pop-up popped up off screen and I couldn't get it back on screen, and I don't have a keyboard here. My keyboard's over there. So I just closed the window. Hopefully that stopped the stream. Yeah, it seems like it just stopped it randomly, so oh well. Anyways, oh, we win. Gross. It's my day off, so I'm really happy that I don't have to go to work. But anyways, thank you all for hanging out. I hope the stream was okay. I hope it sounded okay. I hope it looked okay this way. I like this setup. I think it looks really cool. I need to work on like a just chatting screen and stuff, and maybe get a wireless keyboard. That might make life easier. But yeah, thank you all for being here. I really appreciate all the support and just hanging out and chilling. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have yourselves a good day in Europe and a good night here in my side of the world. And